Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at another one of the posts on the Korean Mabinogi Eternity project site. So I would like to talk about texture production during the process of remodeling Turconail, where Militians will live. If you change the engine to Unreal, the background graphics will have to get better. Wouldn't it be possible to make it respond to real-time light by adding normal, roughness, and specular so that the characteristics of each material stand out? I'll make all the backgrounds you've wanted to make for a while. The will to create a truly fantastic background was sparked. However, our Mabinogi isn't like this. I worked too hard on sculpting using graphics tools, but it didn't have the hardwood feel that Mabi has. When I strengthened the normal, realizing low polygons with the three-dimensional effect of high polygons, the clear feeling typical of Mabi did not appear. However, I gathered my courage and went back to the beginning and thought about what elements determine the characteristics of Mabinogi's background. Mabinogi is a cartoon graphic. The flat feel of the environment setting creates a unique 2D feel, and the diffuse texture has strong contrast to bring out the sense of mass. The sense of shape and proportion of the background had a simpler and more casual feel than the realistic proportions. On the other hand, the texture was closer to real life than expected. In these cases, Mabinogi's background identity was being added. So here's a good example of like the wooden textures being showed well. And then Avalon clearly shows like stone texture. This was it. More than anything, I realized that texture plays a big role. The unique, clean, and organized feeling comes from the texture. So, I tried creating the texture right away. First, create a shape. To what extent should sculpting using graphics tools be done? In sculpting shaping using graphic tools, I decided to neatly process large chunks and edges and only add large cracks to the wood texture. Work efficiency is also important, so the wood grain feel was created using alpha in the tool. So here you can see, like, this is the door to Duncan's house, and this is like the window. We've all seen the preview of his house in Unreal Engine. Second, create a diffuse base color of the object texture. In the past, texture creation was created by combining photo textures with Photoshop or drawing them directly. Nowadays, several tools such as ZBrush and Substance are used. Looking at the Mabinogi texture, we could see that it was close to real life and had a high density. It has a semi-realistic feel that has been processed through photo texture synthesis or stylized texture with high detail. Since it was produced 20 years ago, it had a strong feel of a photo composite hand mat. To reflect these aspects, using the production tool, we used the wood grain texture as a base and built it up one by one. Use the sharpen filter sharpening effect to express highlights and depicted parts more clearly. In particular, care must be taken when creating high polygons to clearly express highlights and shading at the edges. And this looks pretty cool. You can like see how in this picture like the wood is like changing. That looks really cool. And here you can see the front of Duncan's house again. This was it. Although the road was difficult, I was very proud that I had laid the foundation for transferring Mabinogi's style to the new engine. Yeah, it's very important Mabinogi has the same style, and this guy did really good work on this. Like, this isn't easy to do. So on the left we have existing resources, so the resources from Pleon Engine, and on the right we have the Unreal Engine resources. So this is the church in Pleon Engine and the bank in Pleon Engine, and this is the church in Unreal Engine and the bank in Unreal Engine. Making the tiles was also difficult. The tiles also used a texture that was close to real life and had a high density. Think of it as a semi-realistic texture with a processed feel through compositing from a photo texture or a stylized texture with high detail. I tested it out in two ways. Processed through Substance Designer texture creation tool for soil and grass, you can see it here, and photo plus PRB, so physically based rendering, resource synthesis for the soil and grass, so you can see like the two differences between these pictures. How to create a Substance Designer from a stylized feel to a more realistic depiction. Advantage: as work resources accumulate, you can quickly work with tiles with a different feel by reorganizing and recycling nodes. Disadvantage: it takes time to express photo-like details. And photo texture and PRB resource plus Substance Designer and Sampler equals composite. The work speed is fast. Disadvantages is it requires reliance on photo resources, so expressions are limited. So here is another cool picture of Turconale Town Square. This is kind of cool because now we have a closer look at the actual town square area that a lot of us have spent a lot of time being AFK in. So I like the wood that they decided to add here. That wasn't here before. It used to just be all stone. It looks like they added like wood right here in like the four corners. I think that's to make it feel a little bit more like a bench. And you can also see like the brick right there. That looks cool. And you can see some brick over there too. Overall, I think they did a really good job with this. This looks like Town Square. It feels good. We can see everything appearing. We can see all the trees appearing, all the buildings and fences, the water, the dock for fishing. Let's go right to here. This is our first real look at like Turconale as a whole. The only thing we really can't see is Fergus's shop. So there's the healer's house way over there. That's going to be the graveyard. I would love to see some close-ups of what the graveyard is going to look like. Looking back, a lot of things happened. There's still a lot to do, but the style has been established. This is how the background graphics of Mabinogi Eternity are being produced. So this was an interesting post to read. I'm definitely glad that they're interested in capturing Mabinogi's style and making it feel like the same game. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Mabinogi Eternity section on the Korean website. And today we're going to be looking at For Silky Militian Hair. So, hello, this is Developer K. I would like to talk about the process of applying physics-based animation to bring life to the hair of Militians. In the beginning, there was a skeleton, so this is a skeleton of a Militian. The screenshot above is of the skeleton omitted for illustration purposes. In the actual game, more skeletons are used for various movements. Traditional animation techniques for creating character movement include: there's a basic skeleton for the character, and the key animation which moves the skeleton in XYZ direction and adds a key to each frame is common. For example, let's consider the motion called walking. Since the legs must move back and forth, the thigh, calf, foot, and toe bones must be moved each frame to set the height, left foot, right foot, respectively. Of course, let's move the arms naturally too. Let's set the height by moving the upper arm, forearm, and hand skeletons each frame. For natural movement, the body also needs to be in rhythm. So pelvis, spine, neck, etc. Walking was used as an example, but in Mabinogi, all character movements are performed in the same manner as above. It is a key animation method that holds the key by moving the position of the skeleton for each frame. The motions of various skills, the motions of actions, etc., all movements. When the above skeleton moves, the attached modeling should also move along with it, right? The work done to achieve this is called rigging and skinning. Connect each vortex of modeling to the skeleton rigging and set the skeleton by giving weights that will be affected by its movement skinning. This allows the attached modeling skin to stretch or shrink when the skeleton moves. Since the basic skeleton of the character is shared, even if the modeling is changed, if the skinning is done properly, the animation operates normally. So hair animation, let's take an example of a ponytail. It is said that animation must be added to the ponytail hair with all key animation data created based on the basic skeleton described above. First, we need to add a skeleton for the ponytail for movement to the basic skeleton. So here you can see the picture for an example. Now all you have to do is add a key for the movement of the additional skeleton for the ponytail to the animations you previously created for character movement. In all character animations 13,586, the key of the skeleton added for the ponytail must be adjusted step by step. So here's all the steps. As the hair bones continue to be added to the base bone, rigging and skinning problems also arise. So separation of the hair skeleton. Before something like the above becomes difficult just by imagining it, let's separate the hair skeleton from the basic skeleton. Leave the existing basic skeleton and animation data as is and create a separate skeleton for the hair. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Let's create a separate hair skeleton like this and create a separate animation for the ponytail that will run simultaneously with the existing animation. At this time, when the walking animation of the basic skeleton is executed, the walking animation of the ponytail skeleton is also executed at the same time. The animation operates separately on the two skeletons, but the result looks like one movement. Of course, for this it is necessary to adjust the frame length of both animations and keep adjusting them based on the basic skeleton animation so that the hair does not stick out too much. Separating the skeleton only solves problems in the rigging and skinning process compared to adding a hair skeleton to the basic skeleton. The process for creating a key animation corresponding to all existing animations is the same. Currently, in the case of moving wigs and hair Mabinogi, the skeleton is separated for each hair mesh and a key animation is created and applied in response to the motion applied to the existing basic skeleton. Physics-based animation. What is physics animation? It has physical properties such as mass, inertia, damping, and elasticity. This refers to animation that is simulated to produce results similar to everyday physical phenomena. In short, if you set various conditions, movement is automatically created according to the physical phenomena. If you just listen to the exclamation, there is no need to specify the position for the skeleton for each frame like in the existing key animation. It sounds like a technology that naturally and automatically simulates the position of the skeleton. In reality, there are many things to consider in order to express natural movement. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Even in motion, in place, in motion that moves and runs, or in motion with high acceleration, the simulation should come out not moving as if it's bouncing too much, right? In small movements, there is little response to external factors, so it is difficult to express the ponytail's movements in detail. On the other hand, with large movements, acceleration or collisions can make the simulation unstable, causing the movement to appear inaccurate. To respond to these problems, adjust the parameters of the physics simulation, or adjustments to the magnitude and direction of the motion are required. Nevertheless, there are cases where it is not possible to satisfy both extreme situations of small motion and large motion. Initial physics-based animation test appearance, so that's this here. So 1, no physical animation, and 2, small physical animation movement, and 3, large physical animation movement. So you can see here how the hair isn't moving at all when the character moves, and you can see here how it's moving a little bit when the character moves, and in 3 you can see how the hair is moving a lot when the character moves. For the flowing Militian hair, the key animation and physics-based animation introduced above are all research and development processes for the flowing Militian hair. In addition, there are various contents such as combination of key animation and physics-based animation, retargeting system, etc. We will cover related content in the next costume animation, the 4-pointed skirt action. Okay, we will cover related content in the next costume animation. The 4-pointed skirt is actually. As the journey of the Mabinogi Eternity project continues, Militian's hair will become even more luscious. Okay, so this is good. So they are working on hair movement in this part of the update. Okay, so we'll be looking at another part of the Mabinogi Eternity section on the Korean website. So the 4-point skirt is actually... So we develop with Unreal Engine, so of course the skirt will naturally flow, right? This time we will focus on expressing natural movement in costume animation, especially skirt-shaped costumes. Let me introduce you to the animation-related R&D process. Let's briefly recall the key animation and rigging and skinning introduced in the hair animation section. Key animation holds the key by moving the position of the skeleton for each frame. Rigging and skinning connect each vertex of the modeling to the skeleton rigging and give the skeleton a weight to be affected by its movement, skinning. 4-point skirt, not bulletproof. Taking the popo skirt as an example, the skirt hem of the popo skirt is rigged and skinned to the leg bones. So when the legs move due to the key animation, the attached skirt moves together. So what should I do to make the skirt part of the 4-point skirt move separately? You just need to create an additional skeleton to move the skirt and set a separate key animation. Volitions who have seen the hair animation process will have already noticed, but there is a problem. So they're just saying the same, they're just using the hair example here. If this continues, the skeleton will continue to proliferate as each costume has a different shape. However, this is a problem I have already experienced once with hair animation. Just apply the same solution as hair animation. So, cloth simulation. It is a type of physics-based animation that was previously introduced in hair animation. It refers to a technology that imitates the motion of flexible materials such as clothing or fabric. What makes hair animation different from physically based animation is that cloth simulation movements do not require a skeleton. Of course, since physical calculations are performed at the vertex level instead, it is bound to be heavy in terms of performance. What if we combined Mabinogi with cloth simulation, which is excellent for expressing the smooth movement of fabric? I started applying the cloth simulation by imagining the possum skirt I was wearing swaying in the air every time I walked. The problem is form. A problem occurred during testing with various types of skirts: short skirt, long skirt, wide skirt, narrow skirt. By rigging and skinning, there are no parts that can be stretched beyond the original form of the modeling. As physics calculations were performed at the vertex level, side effects occurred, such as legs going through the skirt or the bottom of the skirt being rolled up. Of course, there is room for improvement by setting additional physical properties and increasing the amount of computation. It was difficult to expect natural movement in long and narrow skirts. If you attach a skeleton as before, rig it, skin it, and then use the key animation to move it, the mesh will stretch beyond its existing shape. The movement of the flowing skirt that was initially thought is moving further away. Physics simulation again. As applied in previous hair, a separate skeleton for the skirt was created, separated from the basic skeleton, and attached to the skeleton for the skirt. A method of applying physics simulation was introduced. The basic skeleton of the character is used to control the character's movement. This skeleton determines the overall movement of the character and handles the basic animations such as walking, running, jumping, etc. The skeleton for the skirt is responsible for simulating the physics of the skirt parts, used to represent the movement of the skirt more realistically. Physics-based animation calculates the movement of the skirt by considering physical factors such as gravity, air resistance, and external interference. For example, when a character moves quickly, the effect of a skirt blowing in the wind is physically simulated. The physical effects make the game character's motion feel more lifelike and realistic. By combining these two separate skeletal systems, the overall movement of the character utilizes traditional animation techniques, while the movement of one particular part, the skirt, is expressed more naturally through physics-based form. However, there were problems with applying physics-based animation. In small movements, there is less response to external factors. The movement of the skirt is difficult to express in detail. On the other hand, with large movements, acceleration or collisions make the simulation unstable, causing the movement to appear inaccurate. To respond to these problems, it is necessary to adjust the parameters of the physics simulation or adjust the size and direction of motion. There were limits to the physical simulation results appearing natural in all movements. Combination of key animation and physics simulation. To solve the problem, key animation was applied to the skeleton at the beginning of the chain in the chain-shaped skirt skeleton. This ensures that movement at the top of the skirt is reliably controlled by key animation. We apply physics-based animation to the remaining bones of the skirt, propagating physical movement based on the key animation movement of the top bone. Through this, it has become a form that can satisfy both stability in large motions and movement in small motions. The problem is that you need to separate the skeletons for all skirt-shaped meshes and set key animations for each skeleton for each mesh. To solve this, we used Unreal's retargeting function. Utilize retargeting system. To increase efficiency, add a skirt bone to the basic torso skeleton. Using this, we used Unreal's retargeting system in the process of applying key animation to the top bone of the skirt. Add the skirt's armature to the main torso armature. This integrates the skirt and bodice bones into one frame. Apply key animation to the skirt bone added to the basic torso bone. The animation will control the movement of the top part of the skirt. Using Unreal's retargeting system, skirts of various shapes, long skirts, short skirts, skirts with one side long, skirts with different waistlines, starting points, allows you to correspond to the movements of the basic torso skeleton. Through this, the movement of the upper part of the skirt is moved by the key animation of the skirt bone of the basic torso skeleton, and the remaining parts are moved by the animation key of the skirt bone of the basic body skeleton. Each skirt is moved by a physics simulation of the skeleton connected to the mesh. Using a retargeting system, we efficiently integrate the structure of the existing torso skeleton and the newly added skirt bone. It was effective in combining animations for various parts by flexibly constructing the character's skeleton. So you can see in this image here, retargeting results. Light blue basic skeleton, blue skirt mesh skeleton. Okay, so yeah, the light blue here is like the basic skeleton, and then the dark blue here, the normal blue, is the skirt mesh skeleton. We may not be satisfied with all forms, but we will find the answer. As always, below is a temporary modeling resource for testing that was used in the early R&D process. Key animation, torso skeleton plus upper skirt skeleton, physical animation, skirt lower skeleton, combination result. So here you can see those images. The 4-point skirt was actually a skirt that moved in the air. All of the content introduced above was a process to express the natural movement of the 4-point skirt. Although cloth animation has not been applied to cloth skirts, research is underway to apply it to cloaks and certain types of mesh. In addition, various research is underway to improve the natural motion of clothing using a new engine. Alright, let's play some Mabinogi today. Right, I came to Dumbarton because I logged in off stream to like do some dye work and stuff, so did some shopping on Channel 1. So what are the daily shadow missions today? Battle for Tailton 1 and their method. Okay. So let's go ahead and do their method first. Let's get some passes. I think 4 will be enough. So off to Tara. Make sure there aren't any zombies over here. Yeah, that spot's clear. Those zombies over there. And done with that one. So, Battle for Tailton 1 next. We're gonna switch to our Knuckles for magic attacks. See if I can dodge all the ice mines. I'm a little bit more familiar with Battle for Tailton 1. I mean Battle for Tailton 2 rather than Battle for Tailton 1. Okay, I think the next group is back here. Yep. I think there is one more group left before the boss. Oh, there, I found one of the ice mines. Two of the ice mines. Done. Pika Abyss Pass, nice. And spirit gems and reforged tools and dragon's hard blue leather. Yeah, let's go see what the veteran dungeon is. Brundle dungeon today. And what's the normal daily dungeon? Battle missions are done.
뭐야 이 편지는?
Beyond dungeon.
Okay.
Okay. Put that back there.
접수하실 분 오세요.
So let's go ahead and do Rundle Dungeon next. The Veteran Dungeon. Spooks, welcome to the stream. Mostly just running some dailies. Missing a key for that one. Wait a minute, did I grab the key from this room? I thought I did. Yeah, we grabbed the key from here. Okay, so let's use Polar Vortex. That'll help get rid of some of those spiders. What, so now I need to take this key, go back over here, take out those enemies, and then grab the key to go through that other door? It's kind of weird. Alright, floor 2. Alright, we have the boss key, so boss time. I think we go down this hall. Let's get these skeletons first. Yeah, that one skeleton's so close to the Cyclops that we can just get him with Meteor. One. Two. And three. Crap. There. "37 minutes and 36 seconds. Got gems, spirit gems, reforged tools, smoldering thread. What, just normal diamples? Not even fixed? Now we'll just toss those. Okay, we have these hair buns now. See what those look like. I guess with the right dye work, it would look okay. Yeah, with the right dye work, it could work for like a certain look. But I like having my cat ears, so I feel like maybe this would have been better as like a face accessory or face wear slot. So now I can either do Pika Abyss or Fiod Dungeon. Let's do Fiod next. And we're gonna need dual guns for that. I gotta craft more ammo soon. Maybe I should do that. No, I'll do it after. I probably have enough. I'll probably do that today. Craft more ammo. While I'm at it, is anyone selling any sun-touched bullets? I'm checking for these a lot. Hey, there's some. Sure, we'll take those. Oh yeah, that's true. The werewolf mini gems are pretty good. And you can also find the werewolves in an Albi dungeon in Turnanag as well. Don't need a dungeon pass to get to those ones. I think I have a couple of them on like another character that I don't stream with, so maybe I should look into selling mine. I think they're the same rank. I think they're red ones. I think the werewolves are like rank A. Yeah, because they take a while to blossom, so I could definitely see the benefit to like doing that on other characters. Like, I would definitely use my non-streaming character to blossom Finny gems, or at least more of them, because I have like 4 cages. Wait a minute, is it... I have like 4 big cages with her. So for the boss, I think we'll go ahead and use... just some meteor. 8 to 10 years ago, this boss used to actually be pretty fierce. Oh wow. I must have got a crit with that one, because sometimes he lives through the first one. That's not too bad. 12 whistles among 3 characters. Spirit gems, reforged tools, and that's all I care about. I don't want those enchants, I don't think. Alright, we're done with those 2. What do we have to gather today? Ore. Ugh. No, we're gonna forfeit that one. Any ore gathering daily, which is just a pain in the butt to do. Huh, so just sell those whistles on the auction house for 60k, huh? I'll have to look into that. Oh wait, I want to leave the knuckles on because we're gonna do Peak Abyss soon, so... let's see... Chainblade for the ghosts. How long do these two have? 25, 45 minutes? Okay. See how many werewolf gems I have, because I honestly don't remember on this character how many that I've gotten. I have a cat sith up there. Where did I put all my finny gems? Don't even remember where they all are. Not in that one, not in that one. Maybe I got rid of a bunch of them. That's also possible. It's been a while since I've taken inventory. That there. Top, middle. Yeah, I do have a couple in here. But I thought I had, like, I thought I had more than that. At one point I did have a lot of, like, werewolf gems on this character. But no, I must have used up a bunch of them. I could at least get to work on that cat sith. Oh yeah, I do have some werewolves in here. These have been in here a long time. So I think I have one werewolf, one bat. And then, was there anything in this one? No. And this one? So I'll start up on the cat sith at least. And if I gain more werewolf ones, I'll probably use this character to do it. How long does that take anyway? The 16 hours. Wow. Even with the fast cages. So the werewolf whistle. Oh yeah, that goes for around 60k. Let's take a look at the prices. Yeah, 69k, so I could put mine up for 65k then. Just make it a little bit lower. It's not too bad. Actually, yeah, now I think about it, those werewolf whistles would sell a little bit better than fine leather because, like, I usually sell a stack of fine leather for like 550 like K for like a stack of 10. So you could probably make a little bit more off of like 10 of those whistles than you could off of like fine leather. Okay, so for Pika Abyss, we're going to equip a Revive Balloon. And we have our Chain Blade and Knuckles, and then these 2 doll bags to pick things up. Whoa. I don't like it when it sends me in here and there's just enemies in the room. I like being able to hit the orb first. Okay, not that one. Not that one, so those 2 need Chain Blade. That one needs a Chain Blade, that one needs a Chain Blade, so 4. And I think the rest we need to take down with the chain blade. And room 2. Oops. And then... yeah, those whistles go fast. That one werewolf whistle that I just sold, that I just found the auction house just sold. I saw the thing in the corner. I think that's the only thing I have on sale right now. Ghosts! Ghosts! Not good. Not good. It's fine. I don't need ghosts. I don't need meteor for the boss. I just need it to deal with these guys, which are getting in the way. Get out of here. Good little Nimbus healing there. Switch over to those skills. And now room 3. Nimbus healing again, get as much health back as possible. Okay, so... yeah, get back. I don't know how many more waves of enemies are after this, so I'm gonna let my doll bags get this gold real quick. Oh, and there it is. So the boss. What do these bats always want? I'm not here to fight you guys. Get out of my way. No, get out of my way. Come on. What, another bat? Get out of here. And we're already done. There. Star Sapphire, Reforged Tools, Smoldering Thread, and Spirit Gems. Alright, we're done here. They even need that revive balloon. Actually, no, I'll leave that on because we're gonna do some commerce. But first, to feed the spirit weapon. $77%. And then 30 of those. And then 19 of those. So 85% now. So I'll probably get her up a level next week. Alright, let's do some commerce. So let's make at least one run overseas to Idia. Let's see what they have in Dumbarton. Oh, and before I do commerce, let's do a rebirth as well, because we also have that rebirth pot. So we'll just do that now. Oh, they don't have anything good here. What about, E-Main? Do they have any of that whole barbecue bear I can take? If we do that, we're gonna use the, camel. They have 330 of those, and they go for 594. I'm not gonna take that to fails. No. Okay, so we won't take anything overseas yet. Let's go see if they have any coracle rubber in core then. Gonna use boarding candy today too. I need to use some of that up or it will expire. Okay, what do we have here? Nothing. Alright, what about Tailton? Probably gonna make a run from Tailton to Bangor then. Even if they don't have the alchemy crystals, I'll take those barrier spike crystals, that'll be good enough. Okay, we'll take those to oh, those sell for more in Dumbarton. And then these, okay. So drop off alchemy crystals in Dumbarton, and then sell the barrier spikes in Bangor. Yep, most of my characters are cat themed. Xanafiedneko is my second Catboy character. I do have like one other one, Xanafied Cat, the original, who I used mostly for just YouTube videos before I could stream. I've always been a pretty big fan of, like, cat people in games. Like, I know Mabinogi, like, having, like, fox ears and a foxtail are, like, more popular. A lot of people in Mabinogi that I've met like foxes a lot more, but I've always been more the cat person. So we're gonna sell this stuff here, and then the rest of them in Bangor. And my non-streaming character is a cat girl too, so she's also a cat person. I started her like about 8-10 years before I even started streaming the game. Yeah, from what I've seen, Mabinogi Mobile does seem to be quite popular. I think it's doing rather well. I've been following a few, like, Korean mobile players on, like, Twitter and Blue Sky. Makes it easier to keep an eye on Mabinogi Mobile. They also have a few different cat-themed items in that game already, like when the game first released over in Korea, they had some sort of like cat ear beanie that your characters can get for like pre-registering for the game or something. And they've also released like a few other like cat items. I don't know if a VPN would work, because I do have like a VPN installed on my tablet, and I tried like using like a Korean VPN, and I couldn't download the game, so I'm not sure if that'll actually work. We might just have to wait for a global release. Sure, there might be some way for someone from the NA to play the Korean version, but I don't know that much about tech to do that. Let's see if they have any of those, is it jellyfish or those fins or whatever they sell here? Scales. Yeah, there's like a scales that they sell at Cobb. But no, I've mostly just, like, watched people play Mabinogi Mobile on Twitch, and, like, I've heard some of the music tracks from the game, which are pretty good, too. So these scales go for 134 in Tara. I guess we'll take them there. I think as far as updates go, Mabinogi Mobile like just finished releasing like the endgame dungeon for like Generation 1 like a month ago or something like that. I think there are like slight differences because the map is like completely different. Everything is kind of like in different spots. It's really only Turconail and Dumbarton that look like really similar. So I imagine the story is quite a bit different, but it's mostly the same. Like it's still the same final boss at the end of like Gen 1 and stuff like that. Some of the talents are different too, like the talents aren't like exactly the same. Like they have like a dancer bard talent where you use like dance moves and stuff to fight enemies, and then they have like a thief talent. Oh yeah, there are definitely like some like big significant differences. The dungeons are really different too, like those look completely different, and a lot of the monsters look way different than anything like in this Mabinogi. But it doesn't look like a cheap mobile game. Like, it does look well put together, from what I've seen, at least. Like, the graphics look good, the gameplay actually looks like it's enjoyable. And overall, it's been getting mostly positive reviews. I saw, like, a short yesterday where, like, they were advertising, like, new outfits, and I translated some of the comments with Google Translate. I think some of the players were upset because it was like a cash shop outfit and it was a little pricey or something, but other than that, there weren't any like major complaints. I don't know. But yeah, the characters do look nice. Like, whenever I look at the, like, characters, I'm kind of reminded of, like, Wind Waker. We also do have the Mabinogi Fantasy Party coming up in South Korea on, I believe, June 21st, so... I know that's usually mostly just about Mabinogi, but if they ever plan on doing like a global release for mobile, they might announce it there. Sell these scales for 134. And then we'll use the camel. And maybe take those wine racks to Tur, I'm thinking. They sell for a lot at E-Main. I mean Bangor. Yeah, let's take him to Bangor. We'll do that. That's alright. Oh, and let's get a speed potion out too. Move this up. The fantasy party will be on like June 21st in South Korea this year. They have an announcement on their main site for that. And the thing that I'm definitely counting on them talking about is more Eternity news, because they always do that at fantasy parties. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to watch the live stream, and then after it's over, about 1 or 2 hours later, I'll like rewatch the VOD on YouTube, and I'll be able to make the closed captions translate the Korean into English, and then I'll be able to like go over it and understand what they're actually saying that time. And then I'll make like a few videos about the important parts that they talk about. And then like after that, a few days after the fantasy party, they usually release the new notes about their progress on Project Eternity on their microsite, and I'll use Chrome to like translate all that to English too, and I'll go over those posts and make videos. So anything that they do talk about, I'll get like what I can translated. I think their live streams usually happen somewhere between like 1 and 2 a.m. like around where I live, so that's usually what I do. I watch it once without understanding what they're saying and just kind of like absorb as much information as I can, and then like watch it translated and then make videos out of it after that. The last time they had a announcement about Eternity on their live stream was in late November of 2024, and they had like a winter showcase thing. And I think they were like in the middle of working on Tara. So we'll see how much progress they've made since then. Like Dumbarton and Turconail are basically done in Unreal, and they were like figuring things out for Tara, like what kinds of textures and shapes to use for the unique buildings and stuff. So we basically get updated every 6 months or so on like what's going on over there. A lot of ancients out here, jeez. Hey, one of them dropped the gem. That was nice. Okay, so that stuff's sold here. And let's go see if Core finally has any coracle rubber. Oh, they do. Nice. Let's get that quickly. So we're going to take that to Philia for 438. we'll sell that here. And then... let's see what they have in Turconail. So that's worth 125 in Tara. Alright, we're going to Tara with this then. Alright, let's sell this stuff here. That stuff goes for the most in Dumbarton, it looks like. Well, that and then the other continents, but I'm not going to take it overseas. Yeah, let's get some wine racks. So off to Dumbarton. Okay, so I think we're gonna go to Philia next. That speed potion will be nearly used up, if not gone completely, by the time I get to Port Cian anyway. So it's not like much of that will go to waste. Oh, perfect timing. That speed potion's already, like, wearing off. So we have to wait around a little bit, but not too long. And really quick, while we wait to get the rest of the way to Port Conus, I will be right back. Alright, and now off to Philia. Pretty sure that warding candy wore off too. Yeah, oh wait, not yet. Still got 6 minutes. How long before this stuff expires? 5 days? So, yeah, early next week I'll have to use a lot of it. Gonna be doing a lot of commerce on like Monday and Tuesday of next week then. Get that all used up before it expires. I think we'll probably do like 1 or 2 short commerce rounds like after this one. Okay, so I guess the value dropped considerably here. We have to go to core now. It was Philia, but the price changed. Off to core village. Alright, so I think that's good enough on commerce for now. Let's go ahead and get some stuff repaired. And even with repairs, we still have 749k. That's not too bad. Oh, at some point I got 2 extra fine leather. So nice, we have a stack of 10 that we can sell. Wait. Yeah, werewolf whistle sold fast. Okay, let's list the fine leather for 55 gold per unit. And 550k gold for the full stack. Yeah, it looks like people are selling them for like 61k per unit. So I'm going just a little lower than that. Alright, well I think we'll wrap up the live stream right around here for today, and we will be streaming Mabinogi again on Monday.